AmandaLand. Bonus question, bonus question, bonus question, bonus question. bonus question.
Let's try that again.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday to you. Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday to you. Yeah. Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday to you all. I'm so happy to be here with you and to listen to you. I don't know why I started talking like that. But yeah, we're here. And I am really happy to get to do what I do with you, which is be here with Views from AmandaLand, your source for news and truths by any joke necessary. And we are here on a Monday. Mondays always kick my butt because there's always just so much to hit y'all with, right? Like there's always so much to bring into the scope of things, so much to do. I mean, it's genuinely like, and because we are in this like time of all Trump everything, which is the shock and awe, and we will talk about that later this week, there's just so many, there's like the news is literally just all that. Like that's literally all there is. Nonetheless, we are here. Thank you for waking up on the right side of history and, just being here in community and being in a place where we can really be about it. Okay, we can really be about it. We can really be about change, and not just like changing the world, but changing our minds, right? Because that's like a big part of it. But I'm really glad to be here on this Monday because your girl got a cold this weekend and I had to fight it. Ooh, I had to fight it, y'all. I had to really fight it. And I feel like I don't want to claim victory all the way because I don't want to get too bold. Okay. I don't want to get too bold, but I did feel like, okay, wait, side note, I wore this sweater and I thought y'all would get to see the dopeness of the sweater, but you can't really see the dopeness of the sweater. So I'm just going to sit back a little bit so y'all can see the dopeness of the sweater. Okay. Because the mic is hiding the dopeness of the sweater. So that sucks. But now y'all can see it. Isn't that dope? I think it's dope. Okay. So hiding. Okay. That's what's hiding. It's hiding that dopeness. I will never make that mistake again. I will never make that mistake again. Where are y'all watching us from? You know, we always got to find out where y'all are watching us from. So let us know where y'all watching us from. I would love to hear. ATL, ho. Thank you for that. We also got Chicago, Tampa, Houston. How long was my mic off? Damn. I swear, y'all, it be driving me crazy. Not too much on that sarcasm, Kismet. Not too much on that sarcasm. Somebody hit me with sarcasm about their Harriet Tubman pin, and I refunded them. Yeah. Somebody hit me with, I would love to get my pin before da 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 da, but it was like a snarky email. And let me just tell you, I have made it abundantly clear in several different places on the AmandaLand Exports website that you will get your pins before they will ship by the end of the month. They will ship by the end of the month. So don't come at me when you haven't got it yet and I haven't missed my proposed deadline. Okay? I've been very, thank you, Felicia. I have been very transparent about the entire process. And this time when I did this time when I did a sale, I put it on the main page. I put it in your receipt that you get. I put it on the page where you order it from. So I don't want to hear it. But I said, you know what? I said refunded. Refunded. You don't even gotta worry about it, sis. Refunded. Refunded. I don't know who y'all be playing with. I will give you your $25 back. No. The urgency of capitalism. Yes, Meg. The urgency. No, you don't got to worry about the pen. You don't even got to worry about it now. Let me take that right off your plate. Let me take that right off your plate. Yes. Alicia's 33. Amazon got y'all in a choke. In a chokehold. Absolutely. Because there's no reason, like, if I have explained to you when you're going to get it, there's no reason for you to be on my head about it. If I haven't missed the deadline. Now, if I miss the deadline, I get it. Because when I'm done doing this today, I got to go package. That's what I have to go do. I have to go fulfill. So I was like, oh no, baby, no. I'm not the one. I be telling y'all I'm not the one, but people don't really be believing me. But I'm really not the one. Okay. I'm just not. So anyways, let's get back because apparently I had lost y'all when I asked where y'all from. Tell me something. Can you hear this sound effect? Tell me if you can hear that sound effect. Can you hear that sound effect? Did y'all hear the applause sound effect when I played it? Let me know. You did not hear it. Okay, good to know. All right, good to know. So I got to work on that. Okay. No problem. Tell me now. Did you hear it now? Tell me now. Did you hear it now? Anybody? No. They said, Amanda, no, we didn't hear that. We didn't hear that. All right. Well, I got something to work on. No biggie. Okay. I love how y'all are all like, no. I'll take it. I don't know why it's not playing. But maybe one day I'll get it there. The show will go on. The show will go on. Yes, you all are definitely helping like production assistants. You are interactive and I appreciate it so much. Yes, my mug today is a little cat, Lisha. And so yeah, I got to work on that. Why is it not playing? That's fascinating. I have no idea why it's not playing. So we have a lot to talk about today. Jeez Louise, do we have a lot to talk about today? I mean, it's going to be a full show. So if you were trying to think of like, dang, like what can I do today? You have something to do for the next at least hour and a half because we've got a full show. And we have a full show because I really am dedicated to making sure that we are talking about things beyond just the United States, but I also got to still talk about the United States. So like there's no version where we don't talk about the United States and not talk about the rest of the world. Like we have to do both. In which case it ends up being a full show. So that's how that's going to go. And of course, I have an HP printer that is the worst printer in the history of the world. Then I found out that HP is on the boycott list for printers. And I was like, that's going to be the easiest boycott ever. Because the only reason I still have this printer is because it still has new ink in it. But when that ink is gone, baby, the printer gone. When that ink is gone, the printer gone. It's the absolute worst printer in the world. It is more temperamental than my ex, who, I mean, this man was one of the most temperamental humans on the planet. I don't know. I never know what's wrong with it. I never know how to fix it. I feel like every time I'm dealing with it, it's the first time. That's literally what it was like in my last relationship. Every day was the first day. It was like, oh, this is new. Okay. All right. Again, you have an echo now. Why do you have an echo? You have an echo? There's an echo? There can't be an echo. There's no echo. Why would there be an echo? You all have an echo? Oh, the echo was you. Okay. So, I would love to know again where you guys are calling are watching from. You know that I'm a very scatterbrainedy kind of gal, so we got a little bit off track. So let's hear where everybody is from. We always got Atlanta. We always got North Carolina in the building. I told you we always got Atlanta. The SWAT, Southwest Atlanta. Southwest ATL. Pantara is freezing in Denver. We have Jamoya in Orlando. Shout out to the O-Town. We got Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas. I can tell you right now, I am not done being sick because as I am doing this, I can feel the sickness creeping up. I'm going to have to sleep for the rest of the day. All right. We got Mac City, Michigan. Okay, we got Manhattan about to jump on the E train to Queens. I feel you. You must be at that 51st Street stop. I feel you. We got Sugarland, Texas. Y'all got a lot going on right now. We're going to talk about it. We got Bermuda in the building. Shout out to Bermuda. I think this may be our first Bermuda. We got Mesquite, Texas. We have Derby, United Kingdom. That's a first. Derby, United Kingdom. What else we got? We got going on here. We got Boogie Down BX. We love the Boogie Down BX. We got Oxford County, Ontario. We got Stockford, Sweden. We have Upper West Side, Manhattan. I see you on the Upper West. Minneapolis, Gardena, California, Bay Area, Sacramento, I guess that arrow is like Bay Area by way of Sacramento. We got Philly. We got La República Dominicana. Okay, but wait. Are you in DR or are you from DR? Are you in DR or are you from DR? That's what I want us now. That's what I want to know. Are you in DR or are you from DR? If you're watching on Instagram, please join us now at YouTube, Amanda Seals TV. That is where we are. That is where the community is. That is where the monetization is. So come join us here. Stop staying over there because I'm not even going to be there much longer. I told y'all I'm leaving YouTube. January 31st is my last day. Sorry, not leaving YouTube. I'm leaving Instagram. January 31st is my last day. We got Barbados by way of Brooklyn. Did the DR person ever respond? Let's see. Oh my God, Philly won the NFC Championship. Oh, I know it was crazy in Philadelphia. Y'all act a mess. Y'all act a mess when y'all win. Y'all act a whole mess. Thank you, Luna. I'm pushing through. We got Memphis, man. Memphis in the building. Okay. Allison says she's sick in bed in Brooklyn, woke up just for me. Well, baby, I woke up just for y'all. Because I feel the sickness creeping up. I do. All right, y'all. Good morning. As I mentioned, I will be leaving Instagram, which is trippy, right? I've left Instagram before just on some like, oh, I just don't want to be here anymore, like mentally healthy. And I divested from Instagram in that way. But this is a different type of exit. I'll play a video about it later. Because this is not an exit just solely for me. And that makes it a bit more not a bit more. I mean, that makes it more committed. I mean, I'm more committed. I'm not going to deactivate my account right away because people need to know where I am. So I'm not going to deactivate my account right away. But that is something I am going to do. It's just what it is. There's a lot of change that's happening that needs to happen. And we're going to talk about it because we've got a lot of things to talk about today. On today's show, we're going to talk about to boycott Target or not. We're going to talk about Chicago getting doulas. There's some bad news that's happened in the Congo, so we're going to fill you in on that. Northern Gazans got to return home and more. So make sure you stick around. Stay tuned. Remember, here at the Amanda Seales Show, we are here Monday through Wednesday, 10 a.m. Eastern at YouTube Amanda Seales TV. Please subscribe. Please subscribe. Please try and watch for at least 20 minutes, and please replay the episode after the show. We need to be getting at least 25,000 views by my birthday in July for every episode in order for this to be able to sustain as a source of income for your girl. Remember, I do this show out of my pocket, out of my love, out of my heart and soul. I do all the jobs. I am the writer. I am the host. I am the producer. I guess y'all are the PAs. I'm the engineer. I'm all the things. And so, it's definitely a big lift. It's definitely worth it and necessary, but it would be great to be able to have this as a source of income. All right. Thank you for shouting out the show on Threads. You can catch me on Threads. My name is Amanda Seales, but for some reason, it's like really hard for people to find people on Threads. They need to get that together. I don't know what that's about, but they need to get that together. Please drop a seal in the chat if you like something I said. And remember to please come back after the live and drop a comment in the chat, because that really does help with the movement of the show through the algorithm. It is annoying me so much that I'm simply just wearing a gray sweater on this show. Like, it's really driving me crazy because I'm really not this plain of a Jane. And I'm like, I really hate that I'm not showing y'all some flavor, that I'm just literally here in a gray sweatshirt is driving me absolutely batty. So I'm just going to have to change that up real quick. I'm sorry. I have to change it up real quick. I can't deal with it. I'll play you all some music while I am dealing with this because I can't. It's killing me. Okay. This is better. It's not ideal, but it's better. What is that, velvet? Okay, here we are. I know y'all are like, why did she have that on deck? You'll understand later. But nonetheless, here we are. Okay, here we are. I've taken my medicine for the day to get me through this. And now I'm giving you my traditional tracksuit vibes. So now this feels a lot more like good old Amanda. Okay. Are y'all ready for our word of the day? Is everyone ready for our word of the day? All right. The word of the day is obnubilate. The word of the day is obnubilate. Darken, dim, or cover with, as if with a cloud, obscure. O-B-N-U-B-I-L-A-T-E. It is a verb. Obnubilate. Can anybody use obnubilate in a sentence? Can anybody use obnubilate in a sentence? Can any of you people on Instagram come on over here to YouTube and use obnubilate in a sentence? I can tell you a sentence. These racists are no longer bothering to obnubilate their intentions. While I'm waiting for you guys' responses, do you understand how many Black people specifically have consistently said Donald Trump is not racist? I'm talking about Waka Flocka Flame and Nelly and Stephen A. Smith consistently have said this man is not racist. By the end of the show today, everybody should take time to go and just annoy each of these people to say, so is he racist now? Is he racist now? Let's go. We got some examples here. All right. So first of all, someone asked, Mameli, you asked, if I leave Instagram, am I leaving Threads? Oh, I already left Threads. I left Threads when someone compared me and Elon Musk, saying these self-diagnosed autistics always be, and I said, I'm out of here. I'm out of here. So no, I will not be on Threads anymore. All right. Meg says, these loud capitalists obnubilate the truth with their lies. That is accurate. Ding. I'm not letting all the nonsense. Raven says, I'm not letting all the nonsense obnubilate my joy. All right now. Meanwhile, DJ said, Trump obnubilated the joy of the world. That is both are great. Both are accurate. Trump's presidency obnubilated her life. F. Abdurrahman said, we don't know who her is, but it's actually accurate to basically any women in the United States. Anaya says, folks are trying to obnubilate Miss Amanda, but they can't even. Thank you, Anaya. Thank you, Anaya. And let's get to last one. Taliba says, Target shall not obnubilate the impact of the Black presence and Black dollar in retail. We will actually talk about that later in the show. So that's your word of the day, obnubilate. It's a verb, OBNUBILATE. That means to darken, dim, or cover with, as if with a cloud, to also obscure. To obscure. All right. That is obnubilate. So I had to tell y'all something. I was trying to post every day of the week. Okay. I was trying to do Monday through Friday and do like views from AmandaLand Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then on Thursday, do bonus question. And on Friday, do things I learned this week. I can't do it. It's too much. So what I'm going to do from now on is on Thursday, we'll either be, or I'm not even sure if I want to do it Thursday or Friday, but basically I'm gonna toggle. So one week might be a bonus question, another week might be a things I learned this week. So I'm gonna toggle. Oh my God, I'm so sick. I am dying right now. Oh man. I do not feel well. Sheesh. Okay, let's get into our Black Urate news. Let's do it.
Black Urate news. Politics. Black Urate news. Pop. Culture. Black Urate news. Sports. Black Urate news. Justice.
All right. So our first story of the day is about our people of Palestine. Northern Gazans are returning home. So after Israel broke the ceasefire, unaliving a Palestinian man and wounding 7 people, local health officials said Sunday, thousands gathered in hopes of returning to the northern Gaza Strip. However, they were delayed. They were delayed when Israel said it would not open the Netzarim corridor until another hostage was freed, who they claim was supposed to have been freed and released ahead of the 4 soldiers that we saw getting gift bags, smiling and waving. That said, today I woke up to images of the people of northern Gaza making the trek, knowing that they're returning to nothing but the land, and that simply being enough. Let's take a look.
So the streets are full and crowded by displaced people. So thousands of them are deciding to return by walking on the beach, even running. Let's go. الله يرحم حامد يا أمه، الله يرحمه، كان هو بيستقبلنا أول واحد يا أمه.
الغالية الحلوة يا غزة أرض المجد وأرض العزة.
So I had an early morning cry, basically. These people are not returning home to anything. Okay, their homes are in ruins, etc. But what they're returning back to is the land. And I had a friend of mine say to me, well, why wouldn't they just leave? You know what I'm saying? Like, why wouldn't they just leave? And I feel like people who say things like that really have lost their connection to land, which is the goal. Because if you don't have a connection to land, then you don't have an issue with them just obliterating the land. And I just believe that there's like forces here on this earth that are simply not attached to the earth. I don't know where they're from, and I don't know where they came from, and I don't know how their ideology was born, but it's as if they are here. It's like sometimes in my most conspiracy theory mind, I feel like if I smoked weed, like I would probably think about things like this all the time. But it's like I would think about like, are we actually in the midst of an alien fight that's happening for the land? Like we see these movies, like Independence Day and War of the Worlds, where, aliens are coming to take the land. And sometimes I'm just like, are we actually living that right now, where there are aliens here that are actively trying to take the land, but then there are beings here that are actively keeping the land? Like, because it be feeling so crazy. It be feeling so crazy and so just discombobulated to me. And when I hear people say things like, well, why don't you just leave? It's like, that's because you're not connected to anything. You're not connected to anything. And so you feel like, yeah, I'll just give it up, which is odd but I know a lot of people who live this quote unquote, like, simplistic, or they're like, oh, I'm a minimalist, etc. And in their minds, they're like, if I'm not attached to anything, then that makes me free. And I think that there's like a nuance to that, because there is something to be said for being attached to the land that you and your soul were born from. So I just think there's something very real to that. And I don't understand when people can't understand that. Even if it's not for them, I don't understand how they can't understand it for other people. Now, I will say that this whole situation about the ceasefire does not apply to does not apply to the West Bank. And so you're seeing so much going on in the West Bank in terms of violence that continues, everything that's happening. And it's the same day that they released a bunch of people as a part of this ceasefire exchange, they arrested a bunch of people in the West Bank. Yeah. So, I want us to send our love out to the people of Gaza, the people of Palestine, and to the people who, like myself, continue to be targeted for speaking on behalf of those people when they may not have voices here, and speaking on behalf of us in the United States, whose money is being used to persecute them. All right. Next up, let's talk about we got to get into it. We got to get into it. Anybody over on Instagram, please join us at Amanda Seals TV. Let's get these numbers up. Join us at Amanda Seals TV on YouTube. Okay. So let's take it back to 2020. Let's take it back. Now, after George Floyd's unaliving, we saw a lot of performative acts of unity. Remember when we saw remember when them folks, Nancy Pelosi and them, was kneeling in Kente Cloth stoles? That was the most egregious one to me. That was when I was like, oh, y'all acting a mess. So that was not just a time of performative actions, but it was a time of unrest. And y'all know I have something called the Here Nigga Damn laws, which are laws and legislation and policy that is enacted as a response to Black people and those supporting Black people rising up. We've seen it happen numerous times. After the BLM movement of 2020, we saw Juneteenth proffered as a holiday. Nobody asked for that in response to that action. And we saw a lot of government agencies, as well as private sector companies, decide to really lean into DEI. Okay. Now, the government said that they embrace the idea of that a more diverse, inclusive workforce would better serve the American people. You think? You think? Shout out to everybody who just got over here from Instagram. That number jumped really fast. Well, with the stroke of his pen, President Trump has abruptly reversed Lyndon Baines Johnson's Executive Order 11246, which is an order, by the way, that he passed more than a year after he signed the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and just months after he signed the Voting Rights Act following Bloody Sunday in Selma, Alabama. Now, this Executive Order 11246, Equal Employment Opportunity, gave the Secretary of Labor the authority to ensure equal opportunity for people of color and women in federal contractors, recruitment, hiring, training, and other employment practices. Well, why would he have to do an executive order to do that, Amanda? Wasn't there equal opportunity? No. They've created these laws because we're in a nation that has many institutions, legislations, policies, and systems that are grounded in racism and that have never been dug up from them. Okay? So they end up having to pass things like this to counter it. Now, remember, it's an executive order. So it's not ratified in the Constitution. It's not like a part of the actual American written doctrine of how we live, which is why it can change with a regime that wants it to change. And that is what is happening. Now, this executive order required federal contractors to refrain from employment discrimination, and they had to take affirmative action to ensure equal opportunity based on race, color, religion, and national origin. Affirmative action comes from this. Affirmative action was never about saying we're going to put these people first. It was about saying we're going to include these people because we never have before. That is what affirmative action is about. It is not about a vertical change. It's about a lateral change, a horizontal change. It's about saying instead of only caring and being focused on acknowledging this narrow set of people, we're going to expand our interests to allow these other people that we have deemed less than, whether they be women, whether they be of a different race or religion, whether they be disabled, whether they have a different sexual preference. We're going to expand to acknowledge that all of these people can be included in positions in government. Now, when this happened, when Trump did this, folks took to the Instagrams, took to the social medias, and started saying really egregious statements, saying that Trump has repealed the Civil Rights Act, that Trump has repealed the Equal Opportunity Act, and then citing that with Civil Rights Act. So let me just clarify some things for you, okay? So, truth, this is immediately affecting civil servants in the federal government. All DEI employees have been sent home with pay pending the dissolving of their departments. Truth, the U.S. Department of Justice, the DOJ, ordered its Civil Rights Division to halt all ongoing litigation from former President Joe Biden's administration and to not pursue new cases or settlements. Essentially, they are suggesting that there literally is no discrimination in this nation against basically what they're saying is the only discrimination that exists in this nation is against white people. That's what they're saying. Truth, the U.S. Department of Labor was also asked to cease and desist. So Trump, when he put up this ending illegal discrimination madness, what he is saying is that this is basically that this is a thing that they need to do because there's a preference for others, and that is discarding white people, when that is actually not the case. Literally, all it is saying is that white people will not be the only ones considered and preferred. That's all it was saying. So we see that the U.S. Department of Labor has also been asked to cease and desist. And we also see that they have been, cease and desist all investigative and enforcement activity under Executive Order 11246. Now, remember what I said was that it is actually the Labor Secretary who is supposed to enact this. So they have been told to stop. Now, there are people who feel like this order revokes the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Equal Employment Opportunity Act of 1972. That is not the case. These acts are created laws that protect against employment discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, national origin, religion, age, disability, and marital or familial status in the private sector. That being said, because it is being made precedent in the government, it is 1,000% expected that it will dovetail into the private sector. I mean, that's what we're seeing with the DEI, right? Trump rolled back DEI in the government, and then we see the private sector say, oh, all right, we're going to do it too, we're going to do it too, we're going to do it too. So there's no reason to think that that's not going to happen. I know that many of you are looking at the Democrats and saying, oh my gosh, what are you guys going to do about this? And this was the minority leader of the Democrats, Hakeem Jeffries. This was a tweet that he literally posted. I don't know if he typed it, but it was posted and it's still there. Presidents come and presidents go. Through it all, God is still on the throne. Y'all, how does this help us? How does this help us? I'm really trying to understand. What about that as an elected, you know what? He could have kept that. That's all I'm saying. He could have kept that. And I just feel like I'm watching Democrats postulate. So again, every show, it's going to be, what ways can we challenge this? Now, they set up an email account. To encourage government officials to snitch, y'all. Now, we know snitches get stitches, but they set up a government account to encourage people in the government to snitch on their DEI promoting colleagues. And because when you feel powerless, I know sometimes the only action is just to annoy the heck out of people. So there's been mass spamming of this actual email account. People have been sending it porn, the B movie. Somebody put in the chat what the account is so that people can go to it. They've been sending it tales of unqualified white employees. So here are some more things that you can send to the DEI snitch website. Send them a transcript of the entire NWA Straight Outta Compton album. Yeah, they need that. straight out of Compton, the crazy name Ice Cube from the Grand Called Attitude. Send them that. Send them the full screenplay of White Girls. Send it on over. Send it on over. And why not also send just hella pictures of Trump's hands compared to other hands that are much bigger than his hands. Look at his hands compared to Obama hands. Look at that. Look at these little dwarf hands compared to Obama hands. Okay. Look at these little nubs compared to Gavin's palm in the basketball hands. Look at that. Look at little nubs compared to that. Now look at his hands. Look. Well, hold on now. That's Putin and Trump. They both got the same size little butt hands. You know what? You know what? This is telling us something. It's these little hand mofos that is really messing up the whole world. Because I bet you Netanyahu got some little nubs too. I bet you Netanyahu got some little nubs over there too. I bet you he do. Look out. Look out. And for all you little hand men, now you know it is your task in life to not be like these little hand men. Okay. I need you to get it together. I need you to call on all your little hand men and say, hey, bros, we got to have a hand in changing how we show up in the world. All right. We got to have a hand in changing how we show up in the world. Oh, man. Little hands is messing up everybody. Lord have mercy. All you 236 people over there at Instagram, come on over and join us at YouTube, Amanda Seals TV. Get us over that 1,000. Get us over that 1,000 hump. All right. We got 998 people watching. Get us over that 1,000. So there we go. We just got over that 1,000. So there you go, y'all. Share in the chat where people can go to check out that email and spam it, because they had no business asking people to snitch anyway. All right. They had no business asking people to snitch anyway. You know what? Let's get into some 60-second headlines.
60-second headlines. And I run down some news right quick.
Run it down, mama. Put us on.
All right, let's get into some 60-second headlines. If you're just joining us, shout out to you. You are here at Views from AmandaLand, your source for news and truths by any joke necessary. Thank you for waking up on the right side of history. Remember to drop in the chat where you are joining us from, all right? Where you are joining us from. So let's get into it. Our 60-second headlines. Well, it looks like the M23 have taken Goma, which is one of the major cities in the Congo. I think a lot of people love to say, like, who's talking about the Congo? Why aren't we talking about the Congo? But they don't necessarily know why there is even issues in the Congo. Okay. So let's talk about it. So on one hand, well, first let's say this. Rwandan-backed rebels marched into East Congo's largest city, Goma, on Monday, and in the worst escalation of the long-running conflict for more than a decade. So let me give you some background. So there was a genocide in Rwanda in 1994. The genocide saw Hutu extremists unalive close to 1 million Tutsis and moderate Hutus. I want to remind you that the Belgians had incited a really raging raging hatred between the Hutus and the Tutsis by favoring the Hutus and by putting them in positions, and what they do is divide and conquer. And so they did this very definitively in Belgium. Now the Hutus, some of them perpetrators, others refugees, fled into Congo, which is one of the root causes of the instability there. So, sorry, they favored the Tutsis. I apologize. They favored the Tutsis. Now, they're over there and they're still residual hatred going on, which is usually stoked by somebody who's trying to use people for something that has that is for something that doesn't even actually relate to the hatred, but they just use that emotion. And so one of the causes for instability is that. However, even though Rwanda accuses the Congolese government of allying themselves with the Hutu-led militia that they say threatens Rwanda's safety, what does that sound like? Congo, on the other hand, rejects these claims and says the MT3 is there in order to control hella patches of Congolese territory for the purpose of looting precious materials. Many things can be true all at once. The M23 are the latest in a long line of Tutsi-led rebel movements backed by Rwanda. They captured Goma in 2012, but they withdrew days later after an agreement that was brokered by the neighboring nations. But now, I'm probably pronouncing this wrong, but Cornel Nanga, the leader of the Congo River Alliance, which includes the M23, he told Reuters, in Congo, we have a weak state or a non-state where all the armed groups have sprung up. It's because there's no state. And that's what we want to do. We want to recreate the state. So that's just some background, because really what's most important is that the people who feel this the most are the people. That's who feels this, the people. All right. These groups use SA and graping as a part of their war tactics. They say something, the number is crazy. Something like a woman in the Congo is essayed like once every 8 minutes. I mean, the number is astonishingly terrifying. We also know that because of this, there's no food, healthcare is non-existent, and the rebel advance since the start of the year has forced hundreds of thousands of people to be displaced on top of the 3 million that were displaced in East Congo in 2024. That being said, the Congolese people are not being silent. Here you see residents of South Kivu, and they are in the street demanding for peace and justice in the Congo. I think it's really important to see images like this, because it's so often that we are tricked into thinking that people are not standing. I don't know if you all know this, but there are people protesting our government right now. There are people protesting our election around the world. And I didn't even see any of that. Did you see any of that in our media? No. So I think it's really telling. And I need to remind everybody who says, oh, why are people marching, or why are people doing this or that? Like, it's reality that if you are being disrupted, that you're going to feel the need to do something or say something about it. And if at this time marching is all you got, then hey, start somewhere. If at this time boycotting is all you got, start somewhere. But what happens is you start forming community, you start forming intersectionality and connections with each other. That's what they want to not happen. And so you need to find ways to do that. Speaking of separation, okay, all my Texas folks, I can't even with this. So I didn't even know this was possible. Okay, I didn't even know this was possible. The Texas Tribune reports that the Texas House on Thursday voted to ban members of the minority party, the Democrats, from leading committees. They banned them from leading committees, achieving a major goal for conservative Republicans and upending a tradition of power sharing that had been in place since the 1970s. The vote for the rules change was approved by a vote of 116 to 23, with 61 Republicans, wait for it, and 55 Democrats voting in favor. Make it make sense. I'm going to take a sip of my tea. Make it make sense. Make that make sense. 55 Democrats voted in favor. I swear for Lord, if anything is said about me before when I die, I want y'all to say it was Amanda Seals that made it clear and apparent to me that we cannot lean or expect Democrats to save us, and thus we must figure out how to save ourselves. Please, golly gosh, please. Because I'm still getting texts and emails. You're the reason why. No, Democrats are the reason why we're in this situation with Donald Trump. That's why there's a whole article in Rolling Stone right now titled, "The folks that were supposed to protect you didn't." Everyone that was supposed to protect you didn't. So the push in Texas to ban Democrats from leading House committees was a rallying cry from conservative activists who saw power sharing with the minority party as a betrayal of Republican voters. They said continuing to give leadership positions to Democrats stalled conservative legislation that they and the Republican Party of Texas supported. This is not so the reason why this is kind of also bugged out is because so often in the past we have seen Democrats kowtow to Republicans for the sake of bipartisanship in a way that is not helpful to anybody. Like, I see if you're doing that because you consider it to be helpful, but like y'all will do it not for helpful reasons. And so now they're basically like, yeah, we're not even going to pretend that. This is gangs. These are gangs. And for all of you who really be like, I'm a Democrat, you're in a gang. You're in a cult. You're in a cult. Okay. And Tammy, that is 1000% false. Historically, the Republican Party has pushed equitable policies. Historically, like how far back are we talking? Because since Reagan, they have not pushed equitable policies. So I don't agree with that. And again, I will remind you, I'll join in with Melissa and remind you that in France, they created a new party in a matter of weeks to then go on and win an election. And they did this because the right was going to win the election. And Macron, who ain't even a leftist at all, was like, oh, I guess I got to rock with y'all now. Because the leftists formed a whole party. Now, our government does not allow for that because we have a system that is bipartisan in actuality. It doesn't have to be, but it is bipartisan in that way. And people really get mad at me when they're like, well, why are you even promoting other options when there aren't really other options? And the truth is we have to say F the two-party system if we want to see something different. We have to. Okay? And, we got someone right here. Dobby Rhythm Move said Democrat policies have destroyed Chicago. And they said they've been in the public sector in Chicago for years. So I just feel like it's imperative that we not limit ourselves to that thinking because it's simply just not valid. Now, speaking of Chicago is actually doing something really great. It's getting doulas. I thought this was pretty cool. Chicago's Cook County Health is partnering with medical company Prism Healthcare. I have not done any research on Prism Healthcare. Okay, so I don't come from my neck if Prism Healthcare is sideways. Chicago's Cook County Health is partnering with medical company Prism Healthcare to provide pregnant patients with free doula care and bridge the maternal health gap between Black and white mothers. While the pilot program is not yet running, it will get started this year. They're going to hire 10 doulas with plans to expand in the future. Part of the plan is to provide culturally sensitive care, such as bilingual language services, to build community partnerships, and to create empowering birth plans for expectant mothers. The county budget has allocated $1 million to this program. Now, I want you to listen to something quick. This is good. However, the reason something like this is getting pushed through is because there is a vested effort by this new regime to create more babies for a greater workforce. They are going to attack colleges and universities. They are going to 100% attack schools. They've already started doing that. They're already attacking books, etc. The goal is to make the quote unquote lower class lower in intelligence and intellect, so that they end up just, spending all day smashing and having babies that can serve the workforce either legally or as members of the prison industrial complex. So when you see stuff like this, yes, it is positive, but understand that there is a reason why stuff like this is also getting through. And for all of the expectant mothers who are frustrated with Black maternal health, this will 1000% help them. It will. I just want us to always keep an understanding of why certain things get through and certain things don't. And it ends up being interest convergence. And interest convergence is when two interests align, even if they're from opposing sides. So a lot of the resistance work that you will be trying to figure out how to do may require resistance, may require interest convergence, even if just on the surface. All right. I need to take another Dayquil. And so in the meantime, in between time, let's take a little music break. Do you mind? I know you don't mind. So let's do that. I'll be right back. You can look at my background while I go take care of myself. And I'm back. All right. Let's keep this show going. If you are just joining us, welcome. Your Views from AmandaLand. This is your source for news and truths by any joke necessary. Thank you for waking up on the right side of history. If you are joining us on Instagram, please come on over right here to YouTube Amanda Seals TV. Now, I don't know why you in the comments like I can't see you. Like, I feel like she might get mad, but she can't. I can see you. I can see you. Why are you talking like I can't see you? I would cancel the show if I was unable. I'm not unable. I'm uncomfortable, but I'm not unable. Okay. And Dayquil does work for me. So are you ready to talk about Target? Are y'all ready? Because I know that's what a lot of people are talking about. Are you ready to talk about Target? Okay. Let's discuss. So this weekend, there was a lot of conversations happening. A lot of conversations were happening specifically about Target. Why? Because Target decided that they were going to put this out there. They said Target is going to end programs that focus on promoting diversity, fairness, and inclusion within the company. Many years of data, insights, listening, and learning have been shaping this next chapter in our strategy. And as a retailer, that serves millions of consumers every day, we understand the importance of staying in step with the evolving landscape. But then they also added, we're going to end a program focused on carrying more Black products from Black or minority-owned businesses. So this made people very quickly say, we targeting boycotting because we boycotting Target, okay? And the response to me made sense. This same response happened when Walmart said the same thing. However, the response from several Black retailers whose products are in Target was to ask their supporters to continue to shop there, but only to buy their products. And of course, there were some who said specifically, like, can you just do it in the interim until we identify another way of getting you guys our items? So this has created a bit of a kerfuffle. And there's also been people naming many reasons why there should not be a boycott at Target. Now, as a kid, my mom used to always say that I had an answer for everything. So I decided that the best way for me to share my thoughts on this was to slip into the mindset of 10-year-old Manda and speak to these excuses with the quickness in response that 10-year-old Manda would have, because 10-year-old Manda is really not hearing it. Okay, 10-year-old Manda is like, I think that we are going to need to be a little bit more thoughtful in our questioning of these things. And so 10-year-old Manda is about to step into the arena and give you all her point of view on these ideas that people are stating as why we shouldn't boycott. But Black brands in Target will lose money. Okay, so like, yes, Black brands in Target will lose money, but the reality is that if you're giving money to Target, even if it's for Black brands, you're still giving money to Target. And the whole point is to Target not giving money to Target. So for Black brands, yes, they would lose money, but it should be for the greater good, because the greater good is saying no money going to Target. But y'all are on these apps. How is that different? Well, because on these apps, many of us are interacting with each other for free. We are not actively providing them with money. Now, of course, when we are on the apps, they are putting up ads and they're saying with these ads that, we are watching them, so that gets money. So it is actually something they're making money off of, but not in the same way as our hard-earned cash coming out of our pockets and going to be hard-earned cash going into their pockets. So it's not really the same thing. And I would consider this to be a false equivalency. So I don't think that this is a fair comparison for you to be making if you're going to be saying that going to Target is the same thing as going on Instagram. Well, this is what the stores want. Yeah, I'm not really sure why people keep saying this is what the stores want, because really the stores want money. And if Black people are the number one consumers in the nation, then if they said they don't want to give them their money, then that would mean that that's not what the stores want. So I don't know. I feel like people think that the stores are doing this because the stores don't want Black people. But the truth is, the stores just don't want Donald Trump to be mad at them. And the stores also just don't want Black people to think that they have any power over them. But really, they will take Black money any day of the week, because they will take any kind of money, since money is not Black, money is green. So when they're saying, oh, this is what the stores want, I just think that they're really saying that because they can't think of any other reason. But the truth is, the stores do not want you to boycott because the stores want your money. Okay, smarty Amanda. Well, this is an emotional reaction. I mean, yeah, duh. What's wrong with that? I think it's an emotional reaction because people are really sad and frustrated that they're constantly being put to the side and that they're constantly being ignored by a government and by stores that they constantly support. So there's nothing wrong with an emotional reaction as long as it's being fueled into an actual intentional response. And a boycott is an intentional response. An actual emotional reaction that people would have a problem with is if people got mad and then went and busted up the Targets, right? If people went and busted up the Targets, you guys would be like, oh my God, that's an emotional reaction. So it seems like any reaction that is the people saying that they're not going to do something, any reaction that is the people coming together and stopping behavior that they have done that uplifted a space, that is something you guys call an emotional reaction. And strategy doesn't always have to happen because of making other people comfortable. A lot of times when people pause to do strategy, it actually gives the powers that be the time to break people up. So, like, duh. Well, y'all can't stick to no boycott. I guess I don't know why people say stuff like this, because I just feel like from what I look at with my friends, we can stick to stuff if it makes sense for us. You know, like when it was like a whole situation on the playground and they were saying that we could not do double dutch, then we all just decided that we're just not going to play. And then the teachers were like, wait a minute, like you all have to play. It's a part of our rules that you have to play. And we were like, no, we're not going to play if we can't play the way we want to play. And they were like, well, no, you have to play. It's like, no, you can't make us play. And so we just decided that we weren't going to play and we stuck to it. And then they were like, oh, okay, fine. You could do double dutch. And then we got to do double dutch. So I just think it's really finding something that enough people care really a lot about and you can make them stick to it. Also, you don't need everybody to boycott. You don't need everybody to march. You just need enough to disrupt. This is really fun. Thanks for bringing me your child, Amanda, back out here. Thanks, guys. The young seals. The brilliant young seals, y'all. Show her love. Show her love. The brilliant young seals came through. Came through to give y'all the answers to the questions you've been asking. You know? Let's talk a little bit about boycotts right quick. So, one of the earliest examples of a successful campaign was the boycott in England of sugar produced by slaves. In 1791, after Parliament refused to abolish slavery, thousands of pamphlets were printed encouraging the boycott. Sales of sugar dropped between a third and a half. Because successful boycotts rely on damaging both the sales and image of the offending company, the visibility of violations is important. And now we have these phones. We have the ability to actually capture the reasons why we're boycotting. Now, according to Institute for Policy Research, Braden King, a professor of management and organizations, boycotts can still be effective. He finds that while boycotts rarely hurt revenue, they can threaten a company's reputation, especially by generating negative media coverage. The number one predictor of what makes a boycott effective is how much media attention it creates. Not how many people sign on to a petition or how many consumers it mobilizes. Now, we know this, and we have seen this in a number of different ways. In South Africa, so much of the reason apartheid eventually came to an end was because they were able to get eyes on South Africa. When Martin Luther King Jr. came to Selma, Alabama, Bloody Sunday was what pushed the Voting Rights Act to end up being passed because his presence there enacted the video, enacted the networks to come. And so now Americans had to see, oh, they really beating up black folks over there. What's scary to me is that even in an era where we're seeing Palestinians actually document their own G-side, people are kind of like, that I can't relate to. But we do have the means, and we do have other sources of media, which is why they are actively trying to change TikTok to be owned and operated and watched by a U.S. government-based company, Oracle. Now, places that are keeping their DEI initiatives. Are you ready? Because I didn't make a graphic, so you're going to need to listen. Places that are keeping their DEI initiatives. Goldman Sachs, Costco, JP Morgan Chase, whose actual chairman and CEO, Jamie Dimon, said, we're going to continue to reach out to the Black community, the Hispanic community, the LGBT community, the veterans community. Now, I don't really rock with the banks, but I thought that was quite a stance to take. And that's a white man. Okay. Elf makeup products, Costco, Meijer, Giant Grocery, Ben & Jerry's, Ulta, Macy's, Old Navy, Nordstrom's, TJ Maxx, Go-To Foods, which owns Moe's Southwest Grill, McAllister's, Auntie Anne's, Jamba, and Cinnabon, as well as Dollar Tree, Walgreens, Wegmans. All of these are companies that have said they're going to stick to their DEI policies. Now, that does not mean that they may not also be on the BDS list, okay? So there is a possibility that one thing is canceling the other thing out. But just in the specific sector of DEI, these are all the companies that are going to continue their DEI policies. So this brings us to boycott or not to boycott. I'll just say this. There are those that want to see capitalism disbanded because we know that capitalism as it exists ignores the will of the people and it ignores the wealth and health of the people. Capitalism is only built to serve the folks who have been able to capitalize on it. And so often, the only way to capitalize within capitalism is to harm or to suppress and oppress other people. Thus, when we talk about Black Wall Street and Durham and these Black economic spaces, these are enclaves of these are enclaves of Black economic growth that were really examples of socialism because they were communities that did not have the ability to exist outside of their spaces in the way that integration allowed for. The government wouldn't support them. They had to pool their resources. Those with the most had to support the most. And I've been saying for years upon years upon years that they are pushing us back into segregation. And they are. And so the reality, though, is that you can either get pushed into this kicking and screaming, or you can come intentional and purposeful. But that's what they're doing. Now, I saw someone ask, how do we boycott with the least amount of harm? And I don't think this is the right question to ask. The truth of the matter is, and this is going to be a difficult truth. Actually, let me just get into my public seals announcement right quick. Let me just jump into that. Let me just jump into my public seals announcement. AmandaLand. PSA. The truth of the matter is that we are in a country that never excised itself from racism. It never actively said, We are doing away with this as a part of our culture. We are separating ourselves from this as a part of our framework. We are condemning the elements of this that existed prior to us knowing better. We have never as a country seen that happen in writing, in practice. So it was always there beneath the surface. It was always something that could be toyed with and relegated to come back. And that is what these folks have been doing for the last 40 years. Ever since the civil rights movement, they have been actively working to reverse all of the measures that took place that did give protections to Black people, that did give protections to women. That being said, if you have that consciousness, you know that at any time, these folks can turn on you. And we should have been watching and been paying attention. When that happened, when 2020 happened and there was a reactive response by these corporate spaces to create space for Black folks, to me, many of my colleagues was like, oh, we're just getting this money now, but we already know that they can take it at any point and that this is just a phase. And so they had contingencies in place. At the very least, they had a mindset in place that knew this is going to run out eventually, and more than likely sooner than later. I think when I see Black brands that are within these white spaces, white-owned spaces, and they're acting as if they didn't know that this could happen, it's confusing to me. What I want to see is this actually create a confluence of interconnectivity between folks that are not white people. Fulfillment houses, web designers, manufacturers that are interconnecting outside of this framework of oligarchy corporate America that so many people thought access to meant success. And it may have meant more money. It may have meant more capital. But in my opinion, success is autonomy. Success is actually being able to say yes and no and control and not have somebody controlling whether or not you can feed your family. And that is incredibly hard to do in this United States. And it takes a certain level of savvy. But when you ask the question, what is the least harmful way we can boycott? People are going to be harmed in that because they aligned with an oppressor. And so in order to challenge the oppressor, sometimes folks is going to take that L. And I would love to see those folks say, I'm stuck here because of a contract or whatever, but y'all do what you got to do. That's what I would have liked to have seen. They have their reasons for not doing that, but that would have given me so much encouragement. Just to say, it would have given me so much encouragement in seeing those who are at the highest levels of capitalism in our country that are also Black people actively shirking the hold capitalism has on us and saying, I have been able to be successful in this space. However, this space is also actively saying it will no longer create spaces for more people like me to be successful. So I cannot support this space. And, maybe they contractually can't even say that. But I do think it is imperative for us to understand that in order to stand, some people end up having to step back. And I remember during this political landscape, someone telling me, Amanda, you need to know when to step back. You need to know when to be quiet for the good of the people. When I was saying, listen, Kamala needs to engage with these groups of people that do not support what she's saying. Kamala needs to know that these people are not going to bend. And I was told that that's when I needed to step back. But that's because those people are people who uplift the establishment. Those are the people that want to continue to see status quo. Status quo will not stand. It's not going to remain. And what we're seeing now with this regime is that they too don't want the status quo to remain. And so that is exactly what they're doing, disrupting it in the worst direction possible. If they're going to have a revolution, there has to be a counter revolution. what type of resistance are you going to lean into? That's the question I want you to ask yourself. PSA. All right, y'all. That's the show. I didn't even do Show Your Love because I was so goddamn tired. I was so goddamn tired. I didn't even do Show Your Love. But you know what? We could do it right now, though. Hey, what's up, y'all? If you're just joining us, show your love. Show your love. Hey, show your love. Why do you keep stopping? Show your love. Show your love. Show your love. I said, hit me with a super baby. Hit me in the cash app, baby. Show your love. Show your love. Show your love. Ooh. Yeah. Sha la 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 la. Show your love. Yeah. All right, y'all. I'm gonna go sit down and be quiet. I also just spilled tea all over my desk. Fabulous. Great job, Seals. Great job. You guys, please hit me up on viewsfromamandaland.com and let me know what are some things that you learned this week. Let me know what are some things you learned this week. Also, want to remind you that tomorrow we'll be back 10 a.m. Eastern with more Views from AmandaLand, and we're going to have my boy Desmond Thorne. Desmond Thorne will be with us to share with us what to watch and what not to watch with Watch Don't Watch. We're bringing it back. I want to shout out everybody who hit us with a super today. Thank you so much for supporting the show. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for telling your friends about watching. This is my baby, and this is a source for us to come together and really just change our thinking, particularly when we know that mainstream media has no intentions of actually teaching us, well, anything. So that's what we do here. We try to listen, we try to laugh, we try to learn, and all the things. So I want to shout out everybody again who has given us a super. And I want to remind you all that I will be leaving Instagram. So since some people may not have heard this announcement, I will play this announcement for folks so that they cannot say they didn't know. Please listen and share this. Okay, so I can show you better than I can tell you. So I'm gonna lose money, considerable money, by leaving Meta. I'm gonna lose considerable money because I lose considerable access to folks who have been following me for quite a long time. I would rather not lose my integrity. So February 1st, I will not be here no more. You can watch my show on YouTube, Amanda Seals TV. I will still post content there in terms of shorts. You can sign up for my newsletter so that you can know when I'm doing drops and when I'm doing performances, etc. What Would the Ancestors Say will be at Lincoln Center in New York on February 22nd. And you can subscribe to my Patreon. It's $5 a month. $5 a month. And if you don't got $5 a month, you can at least still show up at YouTube and subscribe to the free Patreon, where you sometimes get content. And if you're feeling compelled, you can upgrade. But I'm seeing folks talk about Target. I have my thoughts about that on my Patreon. And I'm just going to show you better than I can tell you. I decided a year ago to downgrade my life so that I wouldn't have to continue to depend on capitalism and enabling and being a part of these systems in the same way in order to keep up what I consider to be like my lifestyle. And no, I don't have children, and no, I'm not disabled. So I am fortunate to not have certain things like that on my back and on my head. That being said, I significantly lowered my overhead when I moved. I'm in the middle of a boycott of Amazon. I've been boycotting McDonald's and Starbucks for over a year now. And now my boycott of Meta will begin. And it's going to be the first boycott, though, that will affect me directly monetarily. And it is what is necessary. That's why you do it. Because it's what is necessary. Not just because of the good of the people, but the good of your soul. Ba-dum-bum. And I really mean that. I really mean that. So for those of you all who are over here watching on Instagram Live, just, know that the pilgrimage needs to happen over to YouTube Amanda Seales TV. And that's how it's going to go. Y'all know how we end every show. We got to get you that 30 seconds of stillness. Everyone have a great day. And I will see you tomorrow morning right here, 10 a.m. Eastern at Views from AmandaLand.
30 seconds of stillness.
I enjoyed laughing and learning with you. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And tell your friends. Also, listen to the podcast. It's available everywhere pods are casted. Listen ad-free by subscribing to Patreon Amanda Seales. Come on and join the Seales Squad. Views from AmandaLand. Live 10 a.m. Eastern, Monday through Wednesday, with content on Thursday and Friday at YouTube Amanda Seales TV. Smart, funny, and